Hello, my name is Ellen Geraghty and I'm the Executive Officer of Rahamim Ecology Centre, a ministry of the Institute of the Sisters of Mercy of Australia and Papua New Guinea. Rahamim's mission is, as the centre of the broader ecological effort of the Institute, to promote a shift in consciousness and behaviour based on a new understanding of our interconnectedness. It's not a mission which is easily translated into practical terms, so we've asked Rahamim's educators to give you an overview of how they've been working to bring this mission to life. Through their presentations, you will see three key themes emerging: the continued building of the ministry's capacity and reputation as the home of educators who provide transformative programs of the highest calibre to a diverse audience, a deepening of Rahamim's relationship with the Institute and its ministries, including through the development of replicable or scalable pilot projects here in Bathurst, but able to be delivered off-site or online, and testing of new methods intended to reduce financial dependence of the ministry on the Institute. It is now my pleasure to introduce you to the educators of Rahamim.
There are so many people crying out for courses that have a focus on sustainability. Whether they are people who come from a background of ecological spirituality or simply developing a relationship with the earth and want to help to heal her. All are looking for ways to live with a lighter tread in their step and to regenerate and heal. I have the privilege to develop, organise or run many courses that encourage a lighter tread and facilitate regeneration and renewal of the earth. Whilst here at Rahamim, we are able to test methods and ways of teaching and educating to take into the wider ISMA PNG community. Some examples of the types of programs being tested are nursery care, composting methods, including vermicomposting, chooks and chook care, community garden design and implementation, waste stream systems. The way forward with land management and regeneration in Australia has to include the knowledge and spirituality of the Indigenous peoples. We have been fortunate in developing a strong and mutually beneficial relationship with the local Wiradjuri people, in which we have the opportunity to learn from their ancient wisdom while supporting their efforts to educate others in their knowledge and tradition by providing them with space to replicate a native fish trap and storage of reeds for weaving workshops and growing of the reeds to help revegetate local riparian areas. We continue to explore options to share this locally developed experience out to ISMA PNG. Online programs are one option we are exploring, however, recognising that our programs have their greatest impact when they are experiential, have been looking at other ways to share these kinds of practical skills and experiences. The primary way we are doing this at present is through the Down to Earth project, an exciting collaboration between Rahamim and Mercy Connect, which is being funded by an NDIS grant. The key goals for this project are helping bring to life the ISMA PNG sustainability policy, wider community engagement in sustainability, educating the participants in skills they can take from their day program to their homes, helping participants gain skills for future employment or occupation, and developing small enterprises for participants. We are also looking into some other areas to help improve privacy to the site, a sensory garden for the participants, and a wildlife corridor to increase the amount of biodiversity to the site. These projects will help this ministry walk with a lighter step and to help to heal the earth. This project could be adapted to suit any ministry within ISMA PNG to help to bring the sustainability policy to life across the Institute. This project is a tangible way to show how to answer the cry of the earth and the cry of the poor.
Hi everyone, I'm Sally Neves and I'm the Eco-Education Coordinator at Rahamim Ecology Centre. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about what we have been doing in the past and how we've structured things and the programs that we're running these days. So to start off, when I first arrived at Rahamim 3 years ago, we noticed that we were offering a lot of programs that were of different natures. So we were offering things like organic gardening or water saving tips or how to grow from a seed, that sort of thing, very practical things, all the way up to, say, cosmology and spirituality and consciousness and so on. So after a while, running more and more programs, there came a need for us to organise what we were doing in a particular framework. And at the time, I became aware of some of the theorists that are active in this area of human development. And we noticed that there are a number of patterns that, if you align them all together, you can see that there's different ways that we can look at our own programs as leading from one tier or level, if you like, of thinking to another. And they're the tiers of consciousness. And so if you have a look at this slide, you'll see what I mean. We can line up all the different theorists' thinking. For example, we've got Piaget or Rabindo, we've got Graves, Keegan, gives a Fowler's theories of stages of development of faith and so on, and we can actually see that there's commonalities between them in terms of the development of human consciousness. So we decided what would it look like if we applied that tiers of consciousness model to the programs at Rahamim. And what we noticed was that we were doing this already. We were offering a lot of concrete, rational, operational kinds of programs, and we were offering retreats and that sort of thing that were somewhat integral. They were integrating a number of different fields of thinking and doing as well, and kind of getting us to think about the human dimension of this planet and at a deep consciousness level. So we decided to adopt this tiers or levels of consciousness model. And another way to think of it is, in this slide, you can see that the Rahamim curriculum follows almost like a way of mapping rivers or classifying rivers. So you can see that there's many more at tier 1 level. They're the smaller creeks that are kind of running into form and integrate into level tier 2 river systems, and then they flow into the bigger one, which might be tier 3. And there's less of it at tier 3. There's obviously a lot more that we have to offer at tier 1 because the majority of people are at that tier, and it's about 5% of the population who kind of make it to tier 2 consciousness, that more integral, connected consciousness. So this model gives us a way to have a look at it and to map the curriculum at Rahamim. Basically, this slide just shows you that from the ego model, you might think of typical models, patriarchal, hierarchical systems that you've been engaged in, and you can probably look at this diagram and say, well, really, for a long time, Western civilization has been very much in that pyramid model. And how do we shift from that to a more circular, more relational, more reciprocal, integrated model? And the answer is that I can't teach that in a way. Like, I can't teach spirituality. It's got to be experienced. So the nature of the work at Rahamim is really to provide enriching experiences for people to be able to develop in their consciousness as they go. So this is just a little indication of the numbers that we're working with. We work on-site as well as off-site. So my work takes me all over the place. I've worked in Perth, Cairns a number of times, Brisbane, Tasmania, Melbourne, and often in Sydney. So we are working mainly with the other ministries of ISMA PNG and other schools or other ministries upon request. And on-site programs, you can see the number of participants, and off-site programs. So you can see all up, we're reaching thousands of people over the last few years. Now, the typical programs that you might see happening and the essential learning that you might see happening at Rahamim, you can see here it includes a lot of things addressing those ISMA PNG groups. There's retreats, there's conferences, especially the Mercy conferences. There's rituals on-site as well as off-site, spirituality days. These are the bulk of our work. So for school groups or CEO staff and so on. And the content of those would be looking at Pope Francis and Laudato Si, Biblical Foundations of Mercy, Catherine Macaulay's story and the link with Earth, Mercy today, how it extends beyond just the human causes to the other than human causes. And the universe story, of course, eco-spirituality, which really is the foundation for absolutely everything that we do. One of my favourites at the moment is a book club for like-minded Sisters of Mercy, in which we're reading Demeter Merku's book, and we've also been reading Thomas Berry. But you can see just the breadth of the range of different things here, including the Go Green Student Film Festival, which was one of 6 Best Practice awarded projects in the state in New South Wales last year. So it's a broad range of the programs, all fitting in somewhere into that Tiers of Consciousness model that I mentioned. And here's some images of us at work. You see that this is some images of that film festival. Founders Day workshops, we go out to many schools to do this sort of work. These photos were taken at James Sheehan in Orange. Mercy Health, OLMC and Parramatta, we're doing lots of work similar to this, where we go into different ministries and work with them and talking about the Rahamim ideology and how they could maybe pick up on that, as well as the sustainability policy expectations of the Institute. We do a lot of this spirituality days. You can see some examples there. Seasonal gatherings on site, which are kind of honouring things like the solstices and the equinoxes and that. So we've got a lot of different engagement of the local community as well as the broader ISMA-PNG community. Yeah, so you can see from these slides, these photos, that there's a range of activities on site and off site. And the last photo in this section shows you one of our advocacy programs that we're very proud of, which is the Rivianas, who've been, for the last 2.5 years, have been creating an enormous, must be 100 metres long now, the crochet version of the Macquarie River, which was an act of protest against the selling of the water from the river to a local gold mine. So these are just some of the broad range of programs happening at Rahamim. And this slide shows you that a lot of the Rahamim programs are actually attracting quite significant grant funding. One of the examples of this would be the Australian Association of Environmental Educators, who actually sponsored the Go Green Film Festival in collaboration with a number of other educators for the environment in our region. And we've just been applying for an Eco Schools grant to get Laudato Si into a Catholic school curriculum as a pilot program. And we've also, one significant one is a $10,000 grant from the NDIS funding for a project connecting Rahamim and Mercy Connect in Orange and Albury for the Down to Earth project. And there are a number of others that we have in train as well.
Not long before she died, at the end of a long day of waiting, Catherine Macaulay said to one of the sisters, "Be sure you have a comfortable cup of tea for them when I'm gone." Ever since, the comfortable cup of tea has been a symbol of the warm and caring relationship which were at the heart of Catherine Macaulay's Mercy vision. The importance of food in hospitality, ritual, well-being and connecting and caring for Earth is of great significance at Rahamim Ecology Centre. Every meal is an opportunity to demonstrate and teach interconnectedness by acknowledging and respecting how and where our food is grown, how it is prepared and then shared with each other. Our food choices and how we source it are influenced by the ISMA-PNG sustainability policy and our own philosophy of SOLVE, which stands for Seasonal, Organic, Local, Vegetarian and Ethical. The principles of SOLVE demonstrate an example of bringing the ISMA-PNG sustainable policy to life through teaching others how to care for themselves, Earth, and others with simple food changes. Through this philosophy, the programs we have created at Rahamim Ecology Centre, we are promoting a shift in consciousness and behaviour at the same time as offering delicious and healthy meals, something I hope you all have a chance to experience. Our online SOLVE program, currently in production, has been created to help all ministries and the people they serve to access this information and these courses easily and simply. It outlines how they can adapt the Rahamim ecology philosophy of SOLVE in their everyday lives. Another example of a pilot program we are running here at Rahamim is a food preparation course for at-risk children.
educating people in less fortunate situations. The aim of the program is to teach children healthy eating skills, low-cost food preparation, and how to reduce waste. Through the sharing of the meal and care in which it is prepared, we are addressing the cry of the earth and the cry of the poor. These programs and others in development are easily to duplicate within any Mercy ministry in Australia and around the world. A goal that Catherine Macaulay would have seen as an act of mercy and charity.
Hi everyone, my name is Anna. I'm the online educator here at Rahamim. My background is as an artist and art educator, and I have a real passion for eco-arts, which I'm able to share here at Rahamim in the form of workshops for other educators. So the Rahamim online hub is still in development. We have trialled many different options, and I think we've finally found a learning management system that suits our needs and budget. But I'll be sharing this with you at a later stage once everything is finalised. I've spent some of my time so far at Rahamim building online resources that will go on the online learning hub. So 3 of the online courses that I'm working on at the moment that should be available very soon. The first is on the body prayer. The second is on composting, and the third is on making ethical food choices, which at Rahamim we call SOLVE, which stands for Seasonal, Organic, Local, Vegetarian and Ethical. As well as these online courses, I have been busy starting Rahamim's podcast channel. This is called Thresholds. It interviews people on the evolutionary edge doing the great work of our times for the ecological identity of the human. So it's a really fascinating project, and I feel very lucky to be working on it. The first podcast is now up on our website. It'll be on iTunes soon, and it's an interview between Sally Neves and Pat Long. Our second podcast has just been recorded and is being edited by myself at the moment. And this was an interview between Sally Neves and Anne Boyd. So please tune in for those podcasts. Making video content for Rahamim is another one of the many things I do here. I've created roughly 12-13 videos so far on a range of topics, and I have a few more in production at the moment. These videos are for educational purposes, but are also for promoting the work we do here at Rahamim. I manage the live facilitation of online events and meetings. Right now this involves one-off events such as guest speakers at Rahamim. It also involves facilitating the Great Work Book Club, which is a monthly online book club for Sisters of Mercy. There is also the Mercy Earth Educators Network, who meet once a school term to discuss current environmental projects, and this group has started to help these educators in the work that they do in their various schools. I also work as Rahamim's photographer, so a lot of the images you find on our Facebook page and Instagram account have been taken by myself. I document all the workshops and events here at Rahamim, and these are just some of the images that I've taken and that are being circulated in the wider community too. As well as this, I also do any illustration work that's needed here at Rahamim. I design a lot of the educational resources using the Adobe Creative Suite, and that pretty much covers everything I do here. So thanks for listening, and be sure to check out our podcast and our online learning hub, which will be available soon. Thank you.